So I did a review of Creature of the Black Lagoon, so I might as well review part 2. Revenge of the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Okay. The movie starts with two men. They're on a boat, and they're actually looking for the Gill-man. Now, in the first movie, they were out there just doing research in the Amazon, and they came across the Gill-man, and they tried to capture him. Here, they're like, nah, we're looking for this guy. We got to get him. They want to find him because they want to get rich and famous and do research on him. And the guy who's taking them there to look for the Gill-man in Amazon is actually the boat captain from the first movie. And he's telling them the whole story about how he killed all these people. Now, they come upon the Gill-man and are not able to capture him. One of them goes underwater to look for the Gill-man, and the Gill-man gives him the business. He gives him a two-piece combo. Okay, so what they do is they take this lagoon. I guess that's why the movie's called A Creature from the Black Lagoon. I never thought about that. He's in a lagoon, and they mine it with dynamite and blow up all the dynamite, and the explosion knocks him unconscious, and he floats to the top, and they capture him. Now, they take him to some place called Ocean Harbor Oceanarium in Florida, where he's going to be studied by a psychologist named Professor Cleet Ferguson, okay, and a lady who studies fish named Helen. I cannot pronounce the term of what she actually does. I can't pronounce it. I'm not even going to lie to you. She just studies fish. Okay. Now, the Gill-man is unconscious. So they take him and they move him around the water. Allegedly, they say in the film that this is a method of waking up like sharks that are knocked unconscious, that moving through the water somehow helps them wake up if they're unconscious. Like water moving through their gills, that motion. I don't know if that's true or not. That's actually something I want to find out, because if that is true, that would be interesting that they put this in the movie. They don't know if it's actually going to work or not, but hey, since they never met anything like the Gill-man, they have to just make their best guess. It does work. Gill-man becomes active again, and the guy who's actually moving him around in the water, the Gill-man attacks him. So another guy jumps in. He starts giving them both the business, kicking their butt. Eventually, they escape, and they realize the Gill-man is a little bit too much for them to handle. So they end up chaining him with this big chain down an ocean. He spends most of the movie trying to get this chain off him, because he's like this big metal pot underwater in this big giant pool they have him in. He can't get out of there. Okay. Now, the two scientists, okay, Helen and Cleet, it veers off into a little love story between them. They get real closey, but that's fine. I don't have no problem with that. It doesn't hurt the story. They spend most of the movie studying the Gill-man. All right. They do things like give him food, give him orders not to eat the food. And if he tries to eat the food, they have this big cattle prod and they shock him. Okay. And they're like, no. So they start teaching him a little bit. And they talk about his intelligence. All right. The Gill-man gets the hots for Helen. Okay. He gets the hots for her and starts falling in love with her. Now, at one point, the Gill-man actually tried to snatch Helen. They're underwater. He tried to snatch her. John intervenes. Gill-man starts giving him the business. And Helen says, no, stop. And he stops. And anyways, they get out of the water. And the Gill-man gets so upset. He wants Helen so bad. He just gets incredible Hulk strength. He breaks that chain. He breaks the chain the whole movie. He couldn't break. He breaks it because he had to get that white woman. He gets up out the water, and he just starts killing dudes. He runs off, knocks over some cars, and runs into the ocean. He gets away. Now, from here, It's not about the other parts of the story. Um, it's basically just the Gill-man chasing Helen around, trying to capture her through the whole movie. He wherever she goes, he pops up. Um, Long story short, police get involved. They track the Gill-man down and they shoot him up. Okay, so let me give you my pros and cons of this, man. Let me start with that. Okay, I like the movie. All right. Um, I mean, I've seen some things online where critics didn't like this one. They said it was bad. If you like the first one, I don't see why you wouldn't like this one. Okay. I mean, pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same elements. I don't see too much different between these two films. Okay. Uh, I actually like that they did a direct sequel and they continued the storyline. I feel that the storyline is actually a good continuation. Okay. In that first movie, you found a new species. Of course, people are going to want to find him and study him and make money off him. All right. I actually like the parts where they're teaching him. They're trying to teach him and study him. They're trying to teach him to obey commands and things like that. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay. Those are probably the best parts of the film because you actually feel sorry for the Gill-man. You actually feel sorry for him. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's like a whole slavery analogy there, okay? They keep talking about how intelligent the Gill-man is. He's almost human. He's not much different. But you're saying he's almost human, but basically you've made him a slave. You're shocking him with a crack cattle prod. You're sitting up there letting people gawk at him like he's a type of animal or a whale or something, you know, some whatever, some animal in a zoo or something. Okay, you know, at one point they actually had a human zoo. Yes, I think they had black people and some other races in there. They actually had human zoos. Okay, this movie, the first 70% of this movie actually makes you feel sorry for the Gill-man. I start to feel sorry for him. I actually wanted him to get out of there to break that chain and go kill them because I didn't like what they was doing to him. All right, you're sitting here talking about how intelligent he is and his new species, and you're basically degrading this thing. Okay, so yeah, I like that part of the movie. The actors did their job well enough. Okay, the first movie didn't have any spectacular acting. I would say this is about the same in terms of actors. I thought everybody did their roles well enough. The costume for the Gill-man was actually really good for its time. Okay, and it still doesn't look bad now. Okay, if you just like horror movies that are more science themed, this is a good one for you. This is a good classic horror movie. And also, if you want to watch something that's not too violent, he does get a little violent. He does kill some people. But it's not like Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees. You know, he's just not mauling people and tearing them in half. Okay? I think even younger kids could watch this movie. All right? And be fine with it. Honestly. So, personally, I don't know why they didn't like this movie. Some critics, anyways. Because the audience must have liked it enough for it to make enough money to do a sequel. But I liked the movie, and I thought it was a good way to go with them studying the Gill-man and the whole slavery analogy. I thought that was a good thing to do, and that was the best part of the movie. Okay, since I talked about the things that I thought that were good, let me talk about the things that might be considered bad. First of all, movies in black and white. Now, that doesn't really bother me. My first TV was a black and white TV. However, a lot of people may not be into that. I think the young generation may not be into watching a movie that's not in color. Okay, they may be like, what the heck is this crap? Black and white? I don't know. Okay, doesn't bother me, but some people might have trouble with watching something that's in black and white. I know a few people who will not watch any movie in black and white, so that might be an issue for some. Personally, I think it actually helps the movie, but it does kind of date the film and actually could hurt it. Some people may not give it a chance just because of that. All right. Also, one of the biggest failings of this movie, okay, when they have him in that ocean area, that's the best part of the movie, okay. But they choose to spend a large part of the movie on the relationship, the love story between the two doctors studying him, and him chasing her or whatever. Okay, I kept thinking, all right, since they're teaching this dude, the Gill-man, he's all these commands, teaching him to obey them. They're gonna develop his intelligence. Okay, they're gonna teach him how to communicate. It would have been corny to have him talking, but I'm thinking, all right, look, at the very least, you could teach him sign language. Okay, you could teach him how to use some basic tools. Okay, that would have been interesting to me because then, like, okay, he could have used what they taught him to actually kill them and escape, and you to actually turn it against them. They kept talking about how intelligent he was and how he's almost human, but his behavior in the movie didn't really show that. He just used brute force to escape, brute force to kill people. He didn't really show all that much intelligence. All right. I mean, the only time he showed any intelligence, he was actually trying to get the female Dr. Helen, who he was obsessed with. I was like, okay, fine. They got this dude chained up, and this big long chain connected to the bottom of his little swimming area they got him at. And I'm thinking, all right, he's gonna chew up that fish they give him until like a paste and slip that between the chain and his leg and use it to slip out. Then he's gonna use his intelligence to kill them and torment them, but that never happened. He escapes by getting extremely angry because he's trying to kidnap Helen and the other scientist stops him. He gets angry and turns into the Hulk because he wants that white booty so bad. Ah, ah, ah. That's not the route I would have went with his character. I would have played up his intelligence more, and I would have had him learn from them and turn it on them. Okay. This movie, there is some fighting in it. There's a couple of fights where the Gill-man is giving people, a three-piece combo. Okay. 2 pieces of chicken and a biscuit. He's throwing down. But it's still tame by modern day standards. He's not tearing people in hell like Freddy Krueger or Jason or the Howling films, all right? There's some violence. He does kill people. You'll see people laying on the ground with a little blood on them. But it doesn't really get, too violent. That might appeal to some people, but some people might want to see Nightmare on Elm Street levels of violence, Howling levels of violence, Dog Soldiers level of violence. They might want more than that. So if that's what you're looking for, you're going to be disappointed in this movie. He does kill people. He does actually kill a dog at one point. They don't show it. They show the dog running at him, and they show the dog laying on the ground, with blood. But it's kind of tame compared to modern day horror movies. All right. Also, another thing you might not like, the focus on these movies, of the 2 I've seen so far, he's not really a supernatural monster. It's more based in science. He is the last of his species, okay? And they talk about evolution and some other stuff. You might not like that whole science bit. The whole science thing they went with. Okay, here. If you're really into like some real horror stuff, like demons, Evil Dead or something like that, you might not like this. Because this he's supposed to be a horror movie monster, but he's not really scary in the sense that those other horror movies are. Okay? You're not gonna get a Dracula vibe or a werewolf monster vibe from him. Okay. One issue I had with him, and this might not be a big issue to other people, but it was a little annoying to me, was his varying levels of strength. Like I mentioned, he broke the chain. He couldn't break that chain for most of the movie. When they had him chained up, he couldn't break that. But he wanted that white woman so bad. He wanted to tap that white booty so bad, he broke the chain. Later on in the film, He picks this guy up and throws him like 10 feet into a tree and knocks him out. But early on in the movie, he's fighting one or two guys struggling with them. Now, yeah, don't get me wrong. He was beating the brakes off. He was giving them dudes the business. Okay, but he's still struggling with one guy, struggling with two guys. Okay, but later on, you're breaking chains. You're picking dudes up over your head, throwing them. He flips a car over. And we ain't talking about these new plastic cars. We talking about the cars back in the day, in the 60s and the 70s or whatever, that was, heavy, solid car metal. He just like flips it over with no problem. I don't know, it's just kind of funny to me. Like, okay, if he's doing all that, he should have been struggling even for a minute or two with those guys early on in the film. Another thing with this movie, okay, the human characters, they did their job well enough. Okay, they served the role of the film, which I guess is pretty much what you can ask for in an actor. Okay, the problem is the film doesn't really make me like them. Honestly, I really didn't like any of the human characters. For the most part, how they treated the Gill-man made you like the Gill-man and dislike them. Okay, they basically kidnapped him because in the first movie they kind of found him by accident. Here they actually went out intentionally to capture him. They capture this dude, they chain him up, and they basically make him into a slave. You actually feel sorry for the Gill-man. This movie makes you like the Gill-man, and it makes you dislike the human characters to some extent. Even Helen and the other doctor, they were participating in it because they're shocking this dude, trying to teach him commands like a monkey or something, all the while saying, oh, he's basically human. He's almost as intelligent as a human. So basically, you got a being that's one step down, and you're basically enslaving him so you can make money off him, and people could come to this oceanarium and just gawk at him, Kind of reminds me of a story I read years ago where you had actually human zoos in the United States of America at one point, where they would put African Americans and I think some other races in these zoos and let people come look at them. That's how I felt watching this movie, man. It's almost like this dude is a slave. You start to feel sorry for him, which I don't know. Maybe that's what they was going for. Okay, but it made me kind of dislike the human characters. When he escapes and kills them, I'm like, oh, you get what you deserve. That's what you get. You deserve the beat down you getting from him. Okay. Now, everybody in this movie is dumb too, man. Okay. The first gentleman in the beginning of the movie, who are the two guys who are looking for the Gill-man, I get they want to make money off of him and become famous, but this dude has killed how many people already? Why are you looking for this dude? He's dangerous. The boat captain was in action in the first movie. He returns. Okay. He's telling them, hey, he already killed all these people. He's dumb himself. Okay. Yeah, they probably give you some money to take you to the Amazon, but is it worth possibly losing your life? Okay. So he's dumb. The Gill-man is kind of dumb too, because he escapes, and instead of him trying to get back to the Amazon, he spends all his time chasing Helen around because he wants to tap that so bad. Okay. He wants to knock boots with her so bad. And that's how he ended up getting killed. Okay. If he had just got up and left right then, he'd have been cool. But no, he spent all his time chasing her. That was his downfall. And also, I would love him to explain how he was locating her. They're taking a trip on a boat. He's following them. Okay, fine. Then she gets up and goes to some hotel or a house or something. He finds her. Okay. Then she goes to a restaurant. He finds her. Like, dude, you got some mad detective tracking skills going on here. This dude needs to work for the police department or be a private detective, because he would be excellent at tracking and locating people. And then I really didn't get what his plan was to begin with. Okay. He cannot stay out of the water for long, and she can't stay in the water, in the water for a long time. So if you just desire this woman, you can't be with her anyways. Okay, you can't keep her under the water. You can't stay out of the water. I mean, And so I'm assuming the Gill-man has to sleep at some point. So if he has to go in the water to sleep, he can just run off. So what is his plan exactly? Okay. Now I get that the Gill-man is the last of his species and has no females to mate with. So he wants to mate. But even if you think about that, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because chasing this one Helen down, the female scientist, how many attractive women did he go past? He could have just snatched them. Okay. One part of the movie, when he escapes from the oceanarium, there's a little girl who falls down. Her mother goes to save her. And that woman, in my opinion, is much cuter and much more attractive than Helen. But the Gill-man just walks past her. Oh, he don't want her. He wants Helen. He's very particular now for some reason. I thought it would have made more sense if they actually just had him wanting to have sex with women. Okay, and just grabbing whatever woman he could. Now, I'm not saying they needed to show that. Okay, of course they're not going to show that back in that time period. But you could have implied it. You could have had him snatching women and them laid out with their clothes a little torn and dirt on their clothes. Like, oh, the Gill-man is he wants, they don't have to even say sex. They could just say he's assaulting these women and imply it. Because that would have made more sense. Him just running around grabbing human women, sleeping with them, rather than trying to take them with him and be his mate or something. Okay. Because his plan really made no sense. And what he was doing with that woman, dragging her around, is what is actually, again, was his downfall, because that's how the police got involved and they lit him up. Okay. But when I think about it, a lot of movies have a little sub-context to it. They have a little message, okay? And I have to ask, what is the message of this movie? Is it that lusting is bad? You read the Bible. If you ever check the Bible out, it talks about lust. But lust is not just sexual. You can lust after money, material things. And everybody in this movie who got killed because they were lusting after fame and fortune and wanted to use a Gill-man to achieve that fame and fortune. Gill-man got shot because he's lusting after women. So, I don't know. Maybe that's a message here of this film. Maybe this film is giving us a message. I don't know. Okay. But all in all, I actually like this movie. And it's odd because I was not a big fan of The Creature of the Black Lagoon when I was a kid. I actually like these movies more than I did when I was younger. But I think I appreciate stuff from the 70s, 80s, and 90s more now than I did when I was younger, because back then they just wanted to make entertaining movies and they were not trying to indoctrinate people and put modern day issues into it. It was just pure entertainment. One other thing quickly I also had an issue with. It's called Revenge of the Creature of the Black Lagoon. I wish they had spent a little more time at the Black Lagoon. I mean, yeah, he is in the Black Lagoon at the first part of the movie for like 5 minutes, but then they change the setting. Usually a lot of horror movies, when you change the setting, you mess up the flow of the movie, in my opinion, when they do that in sequels. It didn't really bother me that much here. The biggest problem in this movie is they really did not take advantage of the new setting. At that oceanarium, they should have played up the whole slavery angle, and they should have played up the angle of them developing his intelligence, teaching him how to use tools and sign language, and him actually using that knowledge to kill him. I think that was the biggest failing of this movie. I like this movie. I think it was a good movie, but it could have been a great movie. So at the end of the day, check it out, man. I think it's definitely worth watching. Definitely a film worth watching.